Nyoman
Yes.
Andrea.
Siddhartha. Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I'm so grateful to be here with you this morning, and I'm going to be a little bit like watching tennis, I think, looking over here and over there.
Thank you, Patrick.
So really grateful that we could actually be together, and super excited to hear about what you're doing, especially in the north with the organic farming, and here in this beautiful shop.
Yeah.
So welcome, and thank you, brother.
Thank you
for coming.
Thank you.
Siddhartha, thank you. And Andrea, lovely to meet you. So let's start with you, Uncle Nyoman, and tell us a little bit about kind of where, to put it all in context, what I'd love to really hear is where you're coming from, what we see as some of the biggest challenges we're facing right now, and then what you're doing about it, and then what everybody can do about it. So that's really the agenda, right?
Yeah.
So let's start with a little bit about what's actually going on here now with the farm, with the shop, with the different businesses and the different projects that you're involved with, and just give us a bit of an overview of that, and then we'll skip back to how you actually got into all this. Sound like a plan?
Okay.
All right. So tell me a little bit about
Balizen.
Balizen. Tell me a little bit about Balizen.
Okay, Balizen. We formed Balizen as a fair trade company.
Mm-hmm.
So fair trade means fair for the worker, fair for us, and fair for the end user.
Okay.
Also fair for environment. So
Nice.
all this time we heard about fair trade, it's just talking about fair for the worker. Actually, it has to make it sustain, to make it giving benefit for everybody. We have to fair for everybody. It's fair trade that not mean your good has to be more expensive than other good that in the same criteria,
Okay.
same quality,
Yep.
and same form. So this is the difference that we try to do in Balizen.
Wow.
So we employ mostly a woman, mom, around our area, and also from the village that come to the city, and then we try also to employ kids that couldn't go to university. So when they just go after high school, then we try to give them job and teach them
Wow.
skill and something.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
And that was since, when did you start that?
We start doing business in 1992.
Yes.
But Balizen actually start in 2000.
Year 2000.
Yeah, year
All
2000. Yes.
So you must have seen some change in Ubud in that time, huh?
Yes, a lot of changes.
Yeah, I'll
and then,
bet.
I myself, we didn't have any background on business or business school or anything. We have to learn along, by trial and error. So, but we have one thing that we have spirit that want to help people and work hard and with work ethic, and we try to make things better for the people and for the environment. So that's our spirit.
Well, people and the planet, right, are the two things dear to my heart.
Yeah.
And I love to hear about businesses that are thriving. And it's a beautiful shop and beautiful, as I look around and look at some of the things, it's just exquisite what you've created.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And I love that you can do that at reasonable prices, competitive prices in the market, and be taking care of people, and be taking care of the planet. Now, the point of this one, really, we're focusing on the environmental aspect. So what stuff is Balizen doing to really honor this beautiful planet that we live on, and how are you doing things differently there?
So first, we avoid to use material that harm to the environment.
Okay, like what?
Like we don't use wood that harvests from the rainforest.
Okay.
So, and we use color that not harm for the environment. So we try to use the color that less impact or less chemical than what they use all this time. And also we try to, in our production, we try to do efficiency as much as possible. Like there's no waste.
Wow.
So all the waste that we have from the prime cutting, so we make a line that called scrappy line.
Okay.
So it is from, we make small stuff and then we make patches and patchwork. So we try to reduce as much as waste that we produce, and we throw out to the waste place.
Yeah.
So and also
Which of course is great for the environment. We've got less
yeah,
waste, but
yeah.
great for business too.
Yeah.
If you can be that efficient and use.
we're trying, but there's a challenge there. If you're using the scrappy, it doesn't mean the cost is zero, because you will pay more on the labor and on the time and all this stuff. So it actually sometimes costs more
To use the scraps.
to use the scrap, because you have to choose it. You have to. But this is the our principle is we want to try to do something as effective as possible and as less waste as possible, like plastic and all this stuff. We're trying to not use it if we can avoid it. So we work in the if I can share, we have 5 principles to work with.
Okay.
So first, in Balizen principle, first we have the compassion. You have to have a compassion on every action and every activity that you do. Either what you call it?
Compassion.
Compassion, yeah. Compassion to other human and to the environment and to everything, and compassion with respect.
Wow.
So this is the principle number 1. So
for the whole business,
for the
compassion
whole
is your
compassion, yes. So
first principle.
My wife always say, because she's the designer of the whole thing, and she always say, I want to create something that make people happy. She always does, that is her thing, that, so it's, that is one of the first principle, is a compassion to make people happy, and then they get what they pay for. So even we are in the, what you call fair trade, but we don't want to sell more than what people will get from what they pay.
They get a very good value.
Yeah,
It's great value.
They always want to come back because they say, wow, that was a really good quality product at a really good price. So we don't add the extra that we could. A lot of people say that our prices are too cheap, but that's the level that we of happiness that we prefer to give. We prefer to give that happiness than to put extra money in our pocket.
Gotcha.
And then principle number 2 is in every activity you have to be smart and measured, well measured. So it's for example, if you do like quotation, if you do anything, you have to really plan it, and you have to be able to measure and compare to, if I do this way, it will be more effective in this way, and it has to be like that, and you have to plan it, you have to. So, by doing this, principle number 2, and you will have less waste, less harm for but a lot of people does, without thinking, without planning, and they just they actually create more problem than they solve the problem for mankind and for the environment. So this is the principle number 2. You have to be well planned and smart and measured, so you will able to compete.
It's about calculation,
Yeah,
right?
calculation.
And you mentioned economy and efficiency.
Yes, and everything. So it has to be. It's like the design. What you design is something that beautiful, that useful, and then it can last for long. And this is like one of the principle of what we're trying to do. And number 3 is the main goal of the activity is not about making a lot of money, not about getting accumulation of belonging, but it's all about creating a better quality of life for all. So this is become a different than a lot of people try to work hard and to just get as much money and to buy a race car, or, and all that, what you call that, glamour, and actually, in a lot of cases, that goal will create more problem for the mankind and for the planet. Let's look at this. The greediness come from that. So that when the corruption and all this stuff come from, they set wrong goal for their life, and then we in Balizen trying to do, let's share it, let's make quality life, a better quality life for everybody. So including us, including the people, including the, that's why we keep trying to, we can make a lot of profit, we can, but we have a choice to give it more to other people, share it in the fair way to other people, to government, to environment, and everybody will get a good benefit from working with us and working together with us. And this is a principle number.
Yeah, and it ties right into principle number 1, which is compassion.
Yeah.
And then if we have a focus, not so much on profitability, but we're going to be economical and efficient, because that's principle number 2. But then here, this is all about quality of life for you, for the staff, for the customers, for the suppliers, for all the different stakeholders involved in the business. And what a beautiful focus.
Actually, this will strengthen the foundation of the business. A lot of people do, like, if they focus on the power, on the accumulation of belonging for themselves, and this will actually, they have to do like exploitation on some other ways, and this is I see our economy and global economy is built on right now. So this is what make problem. So we try to do something different, and it's hard. It's not easy, but we see there's that's what our principle is, giving happiness to others and us, and then by giving more, we will have more. That's and then happiness is the absolute goal.
That's
actually.
the measure, huh?
Yeah, the happiness is the measure, because we see in a lot of places, a lot of cases, you have a lot, it doesn't mean you're happy.
Of course.
So it's a lot of rich people is stressed out about it.
Yeah, so, for sure. I mean, and the people that I talk to, and that we look at a huge cross section of society, and we see not a great correlation between wealth and happiness.
Yeah.
For sure, there's some people very wealthy, very happy.
Yeah.
There's some people have nothing and very happy.
Yeah.
And vice versa as well. Some people have nothing and not happy, and people have lots of money not happy. So it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a direct correlation.
Yes.
It's like seems to be that you can have money or not, and you can have happiness or not, but the two aren't necessarily related.
Yeah,
right?
but here we focus on the quality of life, and that means we focus on happiness.
Perfect.
So, and then principle number 4, we are our activity is focused on doing the real sector. That means the productivity that we do is on doing real thing. It's not like, okay, let's say we play in the stock market.
Okay.
And then future trading, we not focus on that. We focus on doing real productivity and grounded, and this is what builds the economy actually. So when people really do their productivity, for example, the farmers, they can grow, they can have more production on their farm, That's meaning much more than if you win on the stock market.
Sure.
So this we trying if we can do it like Balizen, we're trying to okay let make the that always grow the production and then in a steady way and that means we can give more work for people and then also teach them to work more efficient. That means they can finish work faster or more per certain amount of time. So if they do that, they will have a more free time with the same amount of income.
Sure.
So they will have a better quality of life. So
yep.
this is all about. So it's principle number 4 is also we trying to do in the real sector with the what you call that artistic base. You know, it's like whatever that you do, it has to have the artistic side of it. It's not just doing it like, for example, the development, the warehouse, the store. You not just do it like, okay, let's do it. No. So you have to really plan that people will go there, will appreciate, and then will feel comfortable there. And then this is, you know, like in the farm, you create a farm that make people like to work there and like to spend time there. This is two sides that has to be put in place. So when you, for example, if we do a facility or like a factory or something, it has to be, you know, in that artistic way.
Beautiful.
So
what I hear, it's kind of sounds like two things there. One is a little bit about the artistic process or the creative process and really making beautiful things.
Yeah.
And the other side of it is we're focusing on making beautiful things, and that's the value that we bring to our market.
Yeah.
And it's not focusing on working with information or working with you know, concepts and ideas that aren't tangible, real world things. And we've seen a huge shift, you know, even in the last few decades, but certainly over the last 100 years or so, where people have transitioned from, you know, agricultural age through industrial age, and now it's like this information, chemical, technical kind of age, where, you know, the vast majority of people in our cities are working with information, with intangible stuff, and there's nothing actually, you know, you mentioned the stock market was one example, but our whole banking system, our whole government system, you know, lots of our administration systems are all around working with information, and people have kind of a lot of it lost touch with actual making real, tangible, valuable things. And you talk about farming, which is the perfect, you know, the ultimate example of that. But then the artistic, you know, artisans who are producing beautiful art, beautiful homewares, beautiful things. And that's what this is. Is that, have I heard you right there?
And part of the yes, it's
Help us
about
out, Andrea.
preserving well, he didn't finish his 5 principles yet, but I'll just interrupt for a minute.
Just before,
Part of the, what he means by the, well, if I can say what he means by the art, it's, there are a few things. One is about preserving the traditional crafts. This is one of the missions of Balizen. It's, yes, I do the designs, but I do the designs after I've gone and spent time with the people who are doing them and see what they do and how they do it. And this country, like many others, but Indonesia seems to be particularly blessed with a just wealth of amazing natural materials, of indigenous crafts. There are so many cultures here. And this is a big goal of ours, is to make sure that those traditional crafts do not get forgotten, do not get lost, and that have a valid place in our daily society and our daily lives. So that you can use a placemat that was hand woven by a woman in Java in her home or in the little factory, that she can chat with her friends, you know, and that it brings a bit of that culture
sharing with the rest of the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then also that only using the sustainable natural materials. So like he
Yeah.
said, we don't use anything that's harmful to the environment. Everything that we use is natural and sustainable. And then it was interesting what you said about power. I don't know, that was a little on the side, but sorry, just to interrupt about that. Yes, we try not to exercise power over others, but to empower them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right? So that's like
Nice
part of
distinction.
improving the quality of life and the improving the efficiency and all that. Because sometimes, like, say we have a scale up, we get a big order or something for some product that the people we're working with. If we're not doing it in our own workshop, then we're working with outside workshops that most of those we've been working with for 20 years. We all started working out of our houses and, you know, we've all grown up together, right? So sometimes the efficiency, that's what needs to be improved, and that how do you do that so that everybody can do it without going crazy and with having the maximum usefulness of the material and of the work itself.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a four principle, and then the other one is to always preserve and encourage value
Okay.
in the society. So this is a Balizen. The fifth principle is to preserve and encourage value. Either that value, tangible and intangible value. Tangible, for example, is in your balance sheet, you have to always try to create value on that, and not to spend more than what you make.
Sure.
And this is to teach them. Yeah, they're talking about empowering. So people sometimes get lost in that. So when they make something, they think, oh, I can spend now, and this is not our principle. You know, most of what we made here, we put it back.
Yeah, build equity.
To build equity. That's one of the value. And intangible value is like work ethic and respect and fairness and compassion and all this stuff, and respecting the rule, respecting this, and this is trust and all this stuff. So we need to build that in our society. You know, when you have built the value, either tangible, intangible value, that you will able to achieve the goal, the principle number 3, is to get the better quality of life, because quality of life is got lost when you don't have value.
Sure.
So everybody doing whatever they want and without respecting, and this is like it's very urgent for us to do that, and respecting the environment. The most we see right now, there's exploitation everywhere, and it's like, for example, Bali. If you see, there's the change of the site, like 20 years ago, Bali has a lot of water resources and farming and a beautiful site and all this stuff and the tradition. Right now, because there's no respect of that, and there's no like zoning area there's no zoning area because they don't value that, they don't respect what a beautiful place, and what the goal is just to make money, and this need to be encouraged in the society. Oh, the value of the beauty, the value of the nature. Sometimes it's more than the value of the money that you have in your hand.
Sure.
So, but this has to be like concession, like what consensus.
Yep.
This consensus between us. This we need to talk broader and talk louder about this. So, and about the garbage, about the, the respect to the environment. So that means you don't throw garbage, everywhere. It's just, and then you have to preserve more of the green area, and then all this stuff. So this is what we need to.
So, thank you for sharing the 5 principles. I think that's awesome. Yeah. And what I love is anytime I come across a principle-based business that says this is our values, this is what we stand for, and they actually have that as part of their culture, and they're empowering and supporting their people with that, we see those businesses are the ones that make it, the ones that thrive, and the ones that I want to support and that I want to encourage people to support. So it's really beautiful to hear that, and thank you for taking the time to share that. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Value that. So if we had a look at, and what we kind of started to go into is, touching on some of the challenges, because we can see that while Balizen has these beautiful principles, which is amazing, there's others in the society and in government and in different, positions of responsibility and directing the course of the future of Bali and Indonesia, who have different values, different principles that they're operating on, right? And whether they're clearly defined as yours are, or whether they're just, kind of going with how they feel in the moment, we don't know. But what do you see as a result, some of the biggest challenges that we're facing, locally here in Bali, in Indonesia, and even globally? What are some of the biggest challenges that we're facing right now as a species on this planet? What are the things that we're going to have to really deal with and really face?
It's a complicated question.
Yeah. It's a big one, right? And it could kind of go anywhere.
Yes. So first is what our society trying to do right now is because this is like I think for decades it's developed in our society. When the principle of economy, they're saying spend as little investment as you can to get the most profit that you can. This is based on exploitation, and that create a movement where we actually not what you call that, the respect it will come less.
Of course,
the respect become less, and then what happened after that is there's what I see is urbanization is increased because urbanization, the movement of people from the village to the city to the closest area where they get information, they get work, they get all that stuff. So it's like they think this is like part of efficiency, but actually it's reducing the quality of life of most of the people. Yeah. Because the focus is to grow and to make more money, and then we forgot about the quality of life, and then most people then have to move from the village to the city to make more income, and they think, but when they arrive at the city, they have to pay more.
Cost of living is high.
Cost of living is high, and traffic jam, and the pollution, and all this stuff in one area. Meanwhile, the village is empty. And this is growing now, and growing and growing, and because what we focus on the growth.
Yeah.
The growth is the more money that running in the system, but not about the quality of life. And for me, who grew up when I'm childhood in the village, so I was seeing the kid right now that grow in the city. I feel I was really lucky because at the time I had the biggest playground in the world. So the whole village was my playground.
Yeah.
And I have the river. Right now the kid, because of this thing, the kid is grow in the very little compartment and with PlayStation, and because the parent has to work, both parent has to work. There's no parent to take care of them because the grandparent is in the village, and this is the challenge of the human being. When you grow your kid in that situation, what is your successor gonna be? This kid will grow into something it's apart from the nature, and they don't know, and then how do you think that will be? So this meanwhile in when I was a kid, our parents work, but we work with them, and then there's a 3 generation live in one house, and then the parent work and we taken care by our grandparent, and the grandparent right now they're lonely at the village, and then the kid is grow up lonely at home. But in fact, we can actually reverse this to grow the economy based on the village activities like the farming, the factory, like what we do. Balizen, most of our production is in the village. So we teach the people in the village so they can work together, and then also we do farming, and right now, why the farming is doesn't make money for other people, because the farmers work in a small area. They work in the 30 area, and they independent. They don't know about the market. They don't know. They have least bargaining power to the market. But this is what we're trying to do also. We're trying to do farming now, to organize these small farmers to be able to work together and get the market information together, and then make production together, so we can actually supply the market in the continuing base, and then with the better quality that we can survive. So this will draw young people, will make a better income for the farmers.
Wow.
And then will have the young people will have more chance to get a better living than when they work at the city. You work at the city right now, for example, you get salary 5 million, 4 million, and then you have to pay for the cost 1 million and cost of living, and then you end up just have 500,000 at the end. But if you work in the farm, and
you're talking rupiah, not dollars.
Yeah,
right,
no,
for our friends.
yes, in rupiah. So you can what you call that? Exchange it to the exchange rate. So
4 or 5 million a month.
4 or 5.
It's not a lot of money.
No, it's about
a big number.
$400.
$400 a month. So, meanwhile, if you do this kind of farming in integrated with well planned, integrated and organic, and in a bigger scale, but not by one person, but we work together as a co-op. So this will give more income to the farmers, and this will grow. And why young people now not interested in the farming? Because right now farmers, the small farmers, doesn't have bargaining power with the market or with the supplier that they buy the supply from. So this we're trying to do. Balizen are supporting farmers, and we try to help farmers to form a co-op and
definitely want to hear more about that, and we're going to really expand. We're going to go deep with that one.
So this is the challenge that we see, and what we think there's a way out to do that challenge. So
it kind of sounds to me like the difference between what we have in nature as an ecology, and what we have in the cities now in our society is like an economy. And we talk about the economy's got to grow.
Yeah.
And when you look at economy as in the dictionary definition, it's the management of scarce resources.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
the whole idea here is that there's not enough, and for me to have more, you got to have less, and if you got more, then I have less, and
Exactly.
this is this whole kind of thing that goes on in economies.
Yeah.
And we talk about economies of scale and all this kind of different thing, but on the other hand, we don't actually see economies in nature. When we go into the forest, into the rainforest, or into the jungle, we see ecologies, which is, for me to survive, I need to make sure you survive.
Exactly.
And if you don't survive, I won't survive,
Yeah.
or we all need to survive for this ecology to work, because nature's had this balance going for a long time, and this is kind of how it works.
Exactly.
So what I hear you saying now, which is really cool, is that we had this balance in the village where the fit parents, the strong adults could go out and work in the fields and produce food and crafts and build houses and build a village, and the children were taken care of by the grandparents, which is, I think, such a beautiful idea.
Yeah.
And we see that's not happening anymore because of the structure of our societies and our culture. And I think anybody, it's not just here locally in Indonesia, but in Australia it's happening, in North America, in Europe.
Everywhere.
We see it everywhere, where the old people are locked up in an old people's home and they're lonely.
Yeah.
And the children are over here playing video games and not being fulfilled and not connecting with nature and not connecting with their heritage and their
Exactly.
heritage.
That is the
Huge
challenge. That's the challenge of the human civilization right now. Because for me, the most important thing in our life is our successor. Is the regeneration in the forest, in the nature, in everything. But right now, what happened in our society is this is get forgotten. You see how expensive is the education right now.
Yeah.
In fact, the education has to be as cheap as possible, because the education for our kid is our future. So look at, I'm always making example from the nature.
Yeah.
So I see the colony of insect, like bees and like they have very short span of life.
Okay.
But they're able to survive in any condition. What is the key? It's the regeneration. So the regeneration, that means for us human, it doesn't mean we have to make more kids, but
not reproduction.
It's the quality of the of our successor that we have to maintain.
Yeah.
So the quality to be able to get the quality of next generation, we have to raise them in the right way. So it's first, for example, now, like I said, if your kid is raised in a little compartment with video game, you can imagine what can happen, and they will not close to the nature. They don't even know what is the tree look like of the food that they eat, and don't even mention if they even know what is it's in the soil, and what is the smell of the soil, what is the smell of the forest. And in fact, we human being cannot be apart from that. Then that means we more and more put our generation away from the nature, and then from the one that they couldn't survive without it. So this is the can you imagine what the next generation, if we keep doing what we're doing right now? So I think our challenge is now to back to the quality of life for all, the quality of life for the old people, quality of life to these young people, and then they will become adult and will become our successor, and will drive this civilization in the future. So this is like, I think is the most important thing, is to change this into.
So that's a massive challenge.
Yeah.
just had a thought then. It's gone.
It's
It's beautiful sharing. So we see that. I mean, the biggest challenge then is like, how can we get the wisdom from our old people transferred to our young people, so that we don't lose that wisdom, and so that our young people are empowered to actually lead the world. And really, this whole thing is all about a disconnection from nature. Because we're not have our hands in the earth, because we're not growing, we're not watching the seasons and the cycles. And a lot of it. I was talking with a guy yesterday who was talking about the chemicalization of our whole world. And he said this is all about a denial of nature's cycles and a disconnection from the nature. Natural way of being, because we think we can control it, which seems like a good idea in the short term, but the death, the devastation, the destruction that it's caused, and the disconnection that it's caused is killing us, it's killing society, it's killing our planet. So, wow. And what can we do? Because that's a big challenge. I mean, that's a serious. That's a big one. So what can we do, and what are you doing, and what do you see as some of the
what
solutions?
we're trying to do for that solution is like we're going back to the village.
Okay.
That's mean. What can we do to? So there's opportunity for the young people to still stay in the village, but have a good future. That means have choices of what they want to do, and then it's right now. This is something. It's not. It's not impossible. It's not what you call it. It's not impossible. Is that?
You can say that. Not impossible.
It's not impossible
So
because
what you're saying is it is possible.
It's
All right.
possible. Yeah,
we can do it.
It's not impossible because now we have internet.
Yep.
You can get information from anywhere, basically anywhere in the world. To the power of the electricity, or you have a choice. You name it, solar power, and then the technology is making us able to do something that not possible 20 years ago.
Sure.
So 20 years ago, if you need to get the information of the market and all this stuff, you have to go to the city. Right now, you don't have to. And also the thing is, right now the infrastructure is already, especially in Bali. So we see there's no bad road, really bad road that you can have access to everywhere in Bali.
Yep.
So and then this is.
Some might say there's no good roads either, but that's another story.
Yes. But you still
I hear what you're
can.
saying. You can get everywhere.
Yeah, you
right?
can
Totally,
get everywhere.
the network works.
You know, and then this is make it possible for us to operate from the village and with the technology, information, and all this stuff. So you can actually access market from the village. So this I design. I have this idea about. I call in Indonesia it's economy Desantara Persada.
Wow.
So the economy that based on production that you do in the village.
Okay.
So the city is just the place for you to meet the market and all the stuff. But the production, all production based in the village. And what benefit you can get from this is one, for the regeneration, you will give your kid a better environment than if you live in the city. And then two, the cost of living is cheaper in the village. If you see on the your employee side, maybe it will cost more for you a little bit, but it will make your employee happier, and then their kid is happier, and their family is happier. And then by doing this, also you helping the clog in the city.
Yep.
So and then
bringing more people to the city.
Yeah, you're bringing more people to the village.
Yeah.
and then less people in the city, so the problem in the city will just
Yeah.
get solved, and the density of the people that live in the city is become less, and then we put it back to the village, and by doing this, the strength of the foundation of your company will be much greater than if you still live in the city. Like,
why is that?
because if we see right now, at least what I experience
Yeah, sure.
in the city, if you have a factory in the city, the rent is always going up.
Yeah, of course.
And the cost of living is going up, and the problem with your employees' life and all this stuff, because they always get, and more people come. But in the village, you have less that. You have less that problem. So,
Wow.
and we just trying right now to do that, and we'll see what is the result. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So
That's so cool. So, I mean, what we see as the biggest challenge here is that there's this disconnect from nature.
Yeah.
There's parents going into the city and working.
Yeah.
The kids are living in this city life disconnected from nature. The grandparents are back out in the village or in a retirement village or in an actual village, depending on what kind of society we're part of. And they're lonely, and they're craving that connection with their grandkids. They're wanting to pass on their wisdom for the regeneration of the future.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is saying, look, as a business, as an employer, what we can do is, rather than centralize our operations, we can decentralize them, take our production back to the village where the people are, where quality of life, cost of living is lower, the standard of living, quality of life is higher, because people are connected to nature, connected to their family. The children can be with their grandparents. The parents can be with their friends, with the people they grew up with, and have that connection and produce beautiful art, which is valuable, and not have to be adding to the congestion of the growth of the cities. What a beautiful concept. And you're testing this now?
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going good. It's like, for example, our production in Tambat Siring is we have one guy there, and then he was living in his parent house, and then we working for 15 years with him, and now he able to grow up, and then it's growing in the I mean, it's growing in this term is like he can produce more than what he did before, and then his quality of life, his financial, and then his ability, his skill, and all this stuff. We see it giving him a good benefit, and also for people that work for him.
Yeah, he provides work for a lot of people now as he's grown.
So
Also village-based,
and
in the home industry. So it's some people, he has like the finishing that he's made. When we first started working with him, he just had a little shack in the backyard of his parents' house, and then slowly over time, because we've grown together by always doing with the fair trade and our principles, and then now he has his own small little factory, which is more like a finishing place, the starting and finishing, preparing the raw materials, and then the final finishing and the quality control, and a lot of the carving and the work and all this is farmed out to home industry, village-based, so people can work in their home or in their other little small groups in their village, and then he brings it all together. And
so we try to set it up as partner, but not involved in his financial, but we help him. We empower him.
Wow.
So that's what we're trying to do, and then it's work out really well. But there's another challenge here on doing that is the problem that we face in implementing this principle and idea and all those good idea.
Yeah.
It's a very idealistic
So it's
idea.
always a good idea is always in its implementation, right? That's when it hits the road.
The challenge is to one is how do we build in the mindset of everybody that work for us to set a same goal, to agree to have this same goal as a communal dream is to create a better quality of life for all of us, because people tend to, oh, I want to get more than him. I want to, even they work less, their skill is less, but they always want more. So this is like to build a mindset, consensus mindset, or build a consensus among us to have the same dream with fairness and to have the same mindset. And this is kind of challenge. Two,
it's always a challenge to create a culture in
yeah,
business, right? When you say this is what we believe, this is what we stand for, and people go,
yeah.
nope.
So and
Right,
this
that's
is
a challenge.
This is a challenge. And two is to develop work ethic among the people. To develop work ethic, because some people are just and they try to get around, you know. I want more salary, I want more income, but they just doesn't want to work it out. It doesn't want to, you know. They try to always try to find out a way how to cheat, how to, you know. And this is like the work ethic. We have to really build the work ethic. And then the third one is we need to really encourage creativity in all level of work. You know, it's, yes, this is what we're lacking on, the creativity. For example, the store. Okay, it's the stuff is moving around because customer come and then the stock is being taken out and taken in. But when you don't have creativity, and then, you know, especially when your store is busy, now if you set it very beautifully, and in 3 days or 4 days, without the creativity of the people that taking care of the store gonna be like
a mess.
It's a mess. So this is like the what you call that? The creativity. It's just, and also like work. Okay, so for example, they work in the administration. You know, the administration. Okay, I can do this this way. So without creativity, they're not gonna want to find out a better way of doing stuff.
Sure.
So it's not just creativity on creating design or creating product or thing, but in all level, we should develop, you know, creativity of people on how they do their job, so it's more efficient. It's always to get the continuous improvement, you have to encourage creativity in all person that work in the group. So this three thing is the most challenging thing in our, you know, in our system. So it's a mindset and
culture,
and
work ethic,
the work ethic and the
creativity.
creativity. And this is to implement all that beautiful idea, and then
that's what you got to deal with.
The principle, and so you have to. Then this is the biggest challenge. So if we can get it around, I think everything will be okay.
It's a solid challenge.
You know that the Balinese culture is based on harmony with nature. I mean, you've already probably heard that already, right? So that's a lot about
that preserving value, that principle number 5. If you extract all that 5 principle, it has the story. It's just the tip of the thing.
So the implementation, the compassion is you can explain it into one big book, and then the measure, and then continuous improvement, and then the benchmark and all this stuff. You can explain it into one big book, and then the quality of life.
There's
You
a
know,
lot to each of those
it
principles.
has a lot to explain on that. So this is like the base, and we can build a society based on that principle, and we can build a culture.
Where do these principles come from? Is this just some stuff you made up?
No.
So, this seems like a good idea. 5's a good number, right? So that sounds good.
So it's based on human being. In human being, every human being has heart, has compassion. Okay, this in order to be able to survive, human being has to be healthy in this 5 principle that I implemented on the activity. So
Okay.
1 is compassion.
Yeah.
When somebody has compassion, that person will be lovable and people will like him. But it's not enough, because there's bad people around you that can use you if you just have that. Then that's why you have to have brain, analytic, logic, that can calculate and all this stuff.
Yep.
You have to be smart. You
Okay.
have to be able to say, oh, that's not good, this good, this,
Yeah.
you know, and then 3,
So this is heart and mind.
you have to have more good motivation.
Okay.
What is your motivation in life? This is your ego. This is your compassion, this is your brain, this is your ego. And then number 4 is your energy body.
Okay.
Number 4 is your physical body,
Okay.
which is
Convenient to have
you,
a body.
You have
right,
to
for
be
getting
healthy.
around.
You have to be healthy. You keep
Yes.
your body. You eat good food, so exercise, and all this stuff. She always telling me that, so I'm not good in that. So exercise, good food, and you are healthy people. If you're not healthy, you're not gonna able to survive.
Sure.
And 5 is your energy body. That means without energy body, your eyes might be open but you cannot see. Your ear might be normal but you cannot hear, because there's no nerve system that work in you. This is the value. Is the energy body. The value is the equity, and then the value that move the thing, move the physical aspect of this society. The physical aspect has to be, if you want to be able to survive, and you have to be handsome, beautiful, and all this. You maintain your everything, so it's and then your ego has to be motivate you into getting something right. And then your logic, your mind is. This is what I'm drawing.
Yeah, makes sense.
This is come
Beautiful.
from actually come from Mahabharata. So it's the 5 brothers in Mahabharata, which is Dhammavansa, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sadeva. So this is the ancient teaching that I'm putting down and implementing. This is the basic principle that
Wow.
we're creating. It's actually from ancient teaching. It's not just come up.
Not just a good idea you just
Yeah.
made up. It's a good idea. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah, it's a good
lot of
idea.
testing on this one.
Yes. So,
And we found
but
it's
no,
worthy.
it's people just see it. This is what I see. Is all the teaching is. There's no dogma. There's no, but you can see deep in it. Deep in it, there's value in it. So that you have to dig, you have to squeeze it, so you get the nectar of it.
So I get for you, this isn't just about how you run the business. This is about how you live your life.
Yes.
Right?
So we trying.
course.
Right? So that
So you're not perfect? Huh?
yes, not
Not yet.
perfect. So
My dad used to say, I made a mistake once. I told a man I was wrong when I was
When
right.
I wasn't.
so because yes, this is the main thing is about the principle, and when you that is the connection between human and nature. It's this principle. Human has that, and human is the prototype of nature. This is what I believe.
Yeah.
Nature has compassion. Nature has logic. Nature, where is the physics come from? Nature is logic. As math is logic. Math is everywhere, and nature has if you see the forest and the harmony is the quality of life when thing in harmony. So we able to do nature is beauty, and nature has the value in it, has the energy that working in it. So this is the thing that humans should learn, and we as a human it has to all this time we try to what you call that disconnect ourselves with the nature. We think we can think smarter than nature. It's not. We think that we can get around with nature. It's not. You are inside of the system. You are inside of the aquarium. You are, and when you make the water in the aquarium dirty, you get the dirtiness, and you cannot get around it. You're like a fish in the pond, and that is you with nature. So and that's why it's very important to understand that.
Well, I think it's a cool segue and a beautiful example that we are. I mean, this whole Earth that we're on, this whole atmosphere that we've got, and this ecology. It's a closed loop system.
Yes,
right. When we make a mess, we can't send it away. There is no away. We are in the aquarium with the mess.
Yes. So that is the principle, and we know this might work or not, but I don't care. But I make a choice. We make a choice. So this is our path, and we feel happy with our path, and then this is what we think the right way to do.
All right. Well, let's switch it up a bit. Let's have a look at what you're doing, because you're doing some really cool stuff. Other than what's happening here in the shop with Balizen, there's also some stuff happening with the farming, with co-ops in the north. Yeah. Tell me about that. I'm really excited to hear about that.
So it started like I think it started after Bali bombing. So we see we on Bali bombing we actually the one who put the first system in the hospital at that time to help people with a friend, and then after that we continue thinking there's a problem in our society, so we'll see flashback then, and then we do like try to help people in the village with the organic farming, and then sell it to the hotel, and but at that time unfortunately at that time we still kind of growing Balizen. I cannot be part from it because it's just a little seed. Balizen was just starting as well. Even we start in 1992, but Balizen was started in 2000, in year 2000. But it's need to be have a focus in there. So and then I just kind of not continuing that. Sure. But then 2 years or 1 year ago, we start thinking because Balizen is already able to run. Right?
Good.
Yeah. And then we try. I was thinking, why don't we do again what we did in early 2000 to help the farmers, and then with this idea of developing villages in Bali to become the center of the production and economies generating system. So, and then we start doing looking at the problem what is the problem with the farming? Why there's a lot of what you call that, the farmland become building and they're selling it and developing, and people like to sell their farmland, and you see everywhere there's a article, tanah dijual and butuh uang cepat and this. You see, what is the problem? And then other than that, we see, like in my village, like 90% of the young people like start from my age, up or down, start from my age and the younger, and it's 90% of us moving out from the village to try to get opportunity of better life, because there's no choice in the village, and if you stay in the village, what will you do? It's like there's no much choice that we can do in the village. So seeing that, I try to extract this problem. What is the problem actually? The first problem is most of the farmers in Bali has little land that they work on, and two, most of the farmers are have low education, and three, they have lack of skill on doing trading, and they have a good skill on farm, but it's not
selling,
selling and getting information of what a commodity is good to cultivate now, and what is making a good money, and that they lack on that, and also they lack on the ability to supply the market with continuous supply. So, for example, when they grow chili pepper, and then they grow it in 30 ara or 10 ara, but when they harvest and they try to sell it, where do they sell this? And then there's a trader come, and then they will pay it in the very low, and sometimes they don't get even their cost of production. But sometimes, yes, they get the good price if they're lucky. But most of the time, that what happen. And seeing that problem, we try to figure out what to do, and then we come up with okay, the continuous supply. Why don't we get together? We still farming in 30 ara land or 50 ara land, but if we go together, we did this one 50 ara, 30 ara, a lot of 30 ara, it become like 100 hectare, or become 50 hectare. So and by that size, if we work together, we will able to do a continuous supply to the market that we will try to sell to, or we can even make a contract with the industry that needing the supply from what we cultivate, like the fruit distributor, and then in the steady way. And also, by doing that, you have more bargaining power on buying your supply for the farm. So and then you can also get a technical assistant more effective. If you just have 30 ara and you're bringing a technical assistant, and then you pay more technical assistant than if then what you will harvest from that, So this kind of solution bringing us to form a co-op for all over Bali. Even though right now it's not run well yet, but we have the basic idea of why we do that. And then, yeah, with if we get together with a lot of farms, small farmer, we can become big, like ant. So the ant is little, but they can bring big food into their their nests.
Because they work together.
Where they work together,
Yeah.
and if they were alone, they won't able to survive. So this is like the that we try to manifest. And yes, there's a lot of challenge on doing this. Like I said before, is the putting same mindset in a bunch of people that has, that has many different background, and then the work ethic, and then the creativity. But this is what.
You tell me you're finding the same challenges working with the farmers as you found
Yeah.
working with the people.
Yes, that is the basic principle. This is the real problem that we're facing right now. And yes, that's what we try to find. And now we have like about 200 members all over Bali, and then but yet it's not starting the operational yet. We still try to get the legality and.
Yeah, it's
the-
brand
the
new, and the
form,
steps
yeah.
to co-op, it's called a koperasi in Indonesia. It's a recognized entity that has certain
By the-
restrictions, but also certain benefits. And it's a legal entity recognized by the government. But there are several steps to get that, all the steps finished, so you can actually sign your name for the, so all the things are in place. It's just because it's brand new.
Yeah.
We haven't actually gotten the final paperwork yet from the
Gotcha.
government back,
Yeah.
but already planning, the goal is to have everything pre-sold. Everything that the farmers grow is pre-sold. The co-op guarantees that purchase, the co-op will buy it, the co-op will sell it. The co-op works as the middleman for the purchasing of the supplies and the selling of the end product. And then because everybody's a member of the co-op, they also
get the
get the
benefit.
profit sharing from
Yeah.
that as well. So they get the double, they get the security and then also the sharing.
That's just the basic idea. And then on top of that, we try, like I said, because of the internet, we can do everything from everywhere. So now this co-op is a little bit different than other co-ops. So we will have all our activity is web-based, and everything like what is the production plan of each member, they can upload it to our system, and then we can have those it's information all the time about if there's somebody needed something. So when do you, for example, if a buyer come, I need mango like 50 ton in January, so you have it, so we can just this the
Have a look
and for information system that we can the member can upload it all the time, but it's like internal. Then we can like provide that to the market, the information, and to the market who need it, and also the need of the farmers that and we try to utilize the advance of technology for our benefit. So, and without technology, we won't able to do this. And
The
because
information
like
technology.
right now, as we do coordination with WhatsApp or with something, with that group.
Yep.
Yeah, that ability
So,
to
and-
communicate with
yeah.
250 people on your phone.
Yeah.
They use groups. That's really, I don't know if it's so as popular in other countries as it is in Indonesia, but this group chatting through the phones, and everybody's got it, and then he can just say, hey, this is what's going on, and then everybody knows instantly.
So,
I mean,
and-
can you imagine if you had to call or send a
Yeah.
fax or go to the when we started our business, Nobody had phones at all. We were on the road
All
the
the time,
entire
yeah.
day. That's what we would go to the village. I'd have the design, I'd work with them, we'd leave them with the drawings, we'd discuss, and then
And we
a
have to
week
come-
later, we
yeah.
come back and see what is the progress and make the changes, and then when it's ready, we have to come back and QC everything, and then we had to just keep going around. Oh, there's a problem. We wouldn't
Yeah.
even have known there was a problem.
We
if didn't
spend
go there.
like 80% of our time on the road at
Yeah.
the time.
Wow.
So right now we don't need to do that. And again,
Yeah,
the
What a relief, huh?
yeah again.
WhatsApp.
except it was a little bit fun, you know,
So,
we spent a lot of
yes.
time
Oh.
together,
Yeah.
right?
So,
Yeah.
and again, on this co-op, we want to implement that 5 principle as well.
Yeah.
So, and that is important too. If we, I hope we will able to face the challenge, and we'll try to give one solution for Bali and make an example for the world.
Wow.
So
And organic, that's our
and-
other.
Well, that
goal.
was my next question. Of
Yeah.
course, with a co-op, you can buy
Yeah.
your chemicals a lot cheaper,
Yeah.
so everyone can use a lot more chemicals on the farm, right?
No.
No chemicals.
So no, we try
So
to.
tell me about your philosophy on
yeah,
that.
Yeah, we try. It's one of the compassion. How can you kill animal? You know, identity, because it's in the farming. It's
Bugs aren't animals. Bugs are just eating produce, right?
Actually, is not about killing. It's about making it balance. For example,
You can do that?
Yeah. For example, in one suba in Tabanan, so we work together with a group of young people in one suba. It's Tabanan Lover, and we help this subak. It's called subak gangangan in Pagi. So first we want, okay, it's organic farming is a good idea, and will help the farmers, the health of the farmers, and then the help of the people that consume the produce from there. And okay, we start doing that. After 2 years, what come up is there's a pest, it's the mouse.
Well,
It's,
wait, after one growing season,
yeah.
all the life came
It
back,
came back,
to
yeah.
the rice field,
Yeah.
like the dragonflies, there were
dragonfly.
fish in the irrigation
Yeah.
channel,
Wow.
all the life came back.
Yeah.
So that was amazing, and the first year harvest was
Yeah.
incredible. The second year came the mice.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, because everything came back, and
Yeah.
so the second year's harvest was
It's-
80% lost to the mice.
Yeah.
So then
And,
the tell about the solution.
We think this is a problem. Okay.
This is
And,
a problem.
Yeah.
This is a problem, and how to do this now without poisoning and with still doing organic. So, and then I contact one of our supply actually in Java, one of our partner who does ceramic, and then he said, okay, I helped group of farmers before in Central Java. Why don't I hook you up with that? And then I called that guy. Okay, their solution is owl.
Owls.
Yeah, owl.
Right.
One kind of owl that's specialist in hunting for mice.
That a
So
specialist in eating rice.
yeah, and
Right.
so and then we send 2 of our farmers to Demak in Central Java to study about how to conserve owl in our area.
Yep.
So it's called Taito Alba, and then we fund them to go there, and then they come back, and the guys from Demak said, you have to find out the local owl from
Mhm.
there, but in the same species.
Yep.
So then we try to find out after 2 weeks. Then we find the nest.
Okay.
It's in the government office Kadiri.
In the roof of the government
No
office.
way.
Yeah.
In the roof of government office in Kadiri and in
That's the
Tabanan.
wise old owl,
Yeah.
right? That's where the power is.
Yeah.
Mm.
The owl was there, so we took the chick, the babies, and then we raised them, and then we trained them in the conservation place in the Suba. So and then
Train them how to hunt again
yeah,
in the,
train.
Wow.
hunt
Yeah.
for the mice.
So and then after 1 year of that project, and then we released the owl, and now I think we have like 20 owl in the wild there.
Wow.
So and then it's already solved the problem of the mouse.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and with
Ecology,
that,
right?
Yeah, ecology is the balance. This
Yeah,
is
the balance of nature.
yeah, this is what the example that we can,
Wow.
and then also with the dragonfly, dragonfly eat a bug, and a lot of disease on the rice is like because caused by a certain kind of bug. But then
Mhm.
when you have a lot of dragonfly, and it's also ant and dragonfly, that our troop now to control the disease as well.
Wow.
So this is like the organic, actually not hard thing to do if you able to utilize the balance, the harmony of the ecosystem in your area. So this is and then it's not hard.
So what's some of the benefits of being organic or the downside of chemical farming, in your opinion?
The benefit of the organic farming
Yeah.
is one, in the long term, you will reduce your cost of production
Wow, really?
because the soil, the healthiness of the soil will create the healthiness of the crop that you cultivate. For example, in the soil, there's a million of bacteria that helping, and also microba and all this that helping the plant to absorb the nutrition from the soil.
Okay.
If you do unorganic, this little thing will just not exist there.
If you're using chemicals.
If you use them, because they will die, and then hard for plant to absorb food from the soil.
This is why they're using more and more chemicals all the time, right?
And then it's not actually not efficient for the long term.
Okay.
And two is the farmer health will get much better because they're not exposed to all that chemical, like and
So you've had an issue with farmer health
Yes.
from using chemicals, from
yes,
spraying?
of course. And I remember when the chemicals start using chemical in Bali, it's very common to see farmers fainted after they spray.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in 1970, like early 70s, that
Yep.
when they start, and then you hear, so and so fainted after because they didn't know, and then that you can imagine that you're exposed to that what you call it, racun,
Insecticide?
insecticide, and then you to inhale it, and it's not gonna just go away from your body, and it's your body gonna retain it in your liver and all this stuff. So, and it's very bad for the farmer actually. So, and talking about quality of life.
Yeah, not
It's-
helpful.
Yeah, sometimes I have a thought, and now if the farmers doing all this, chemical and spray that insecticide all the time, when now if, for example, if they start working when they're 21-year-old, and when they're 45 or 40, can you imagine how much that thing will affect their, will ruin their system. And then at the end, they have to go to hospital. And then they paid more money to the hospital than the whole money that they produce for. So this is like that. I think the benefit of it. So one is the soil is much healthier.
Yep.
Two, the farmers is much healthier. Three, the biodiversity that around the farm will able to maintain. You know, the biodiversity is like right now it's most of the species in the rice field that we saw 20 or 30 years ago, and by it's already gone. You know, like less dragonfly, less and less of a lot of insect because they, you know, they sprayed all, you know, every season, and yeah, and then less and less species that will able to survive. And, you know, and that they might useful for, you know, they must be useful. If not, they won't exist.
They won't exist.
So
that's how an ecology works.
and the ecology, and then and also, you see now there's a lot of bird extinct. The big bird actually, a lot of them extinct maybe because they eat the mouse that already, you know, get poisoned, and then eat something different, and then they, you won't see eagle. Do you see eagle? There's no eagle now. There's no a lot of stuff that's gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that is very sad. You know, it's very heartbreaking for me because with like when I was, you know, in childhood, we see a lot of big bat, you know, flying every dawn. You know, it's you see they like the sky will fill with that from the, you know, and to get the fruit from, you know, and now you don't see that anymore, and it's a very saddening. So that is the benefit of, and then also it's for our generation, young generation. It's, can you imagine you have that vegetable, it has residue, and then all this thing that we feed our kid, and we feed ourselves with that, and the effects of that with your mind and your body, and I don't think it would be good. So, and with eating organic, then you get a better health and a better young generation, and it's a lot of benefit.
But tell me, how come, you know, very often when we go to buy organic, very often it's more expensive.
Yeah.
And very often that, you know, sometimes if I compare like an organic broccoli with another one, the organic one doesn't look as big and strong and healthy as the chemically grown one. Well, what's up with that?
I think it's about supply and demand. So it's the businessman doing that, and then we try to avoid that. So
How do you mean?
the supply and demand. It's how many is people growing organic right now, and then a lot of people want organic, so they can give. You know, you
they're
can
charging a premium just because there's not so much of it.
Yes.
So what kind of a percentage, maybe you know, maybe not, but if we just look at Bali, for example, and the number of farms we have and the amount of farming area, what kind of a percentage is using chemicals to how much is organic? Do you know?
It depending on what kind of farm. If the rice field, it's a big percentage they still use chemical.
Okay.
But if on the like fruit that they grow in the dry land, it's kind of 50-50,
Wow.
you know, and like mangosteen.
Yeah.
Mangosteen doesn't need any fertilizer, doesn't need any, you know, yes, they need fertilizer, but it's just manure and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, but if that on intensive farming, like vegetable, tomato, and rice, and also they a lot of them using chemical. Yeah, and we try to reduce that, and because that's how they learn, and for, you know, laying up time, then it become culture, and we try to break that, and so a lot of people already start doing good thing of that. And, yeah, and we try to with our member in the co-op. We try to as much as possible restoring the land, you know, restoring the soil and the environment by doing organic farming.
So what I hear is that you guys, I mean, you're doing an amazing job. You're bringing together this co-op, all the different farmers who they've got their tiny little plot of land, which would be enough to feed their family and maybe a few families, maybe maybe the village, maybe whatever.
Yeah.
But if we get a lot of farmers together, all of a sudden you've got some power in the market.
Yeah.
You can have some continuous supply,
Yeah.
and you can command some price.
Yeah.
Whereas if one little farmer's trying to negotiate,
Mhm.
he can only supply in season,
Yeah.
and he can only negotiate for the small power that he has.
Yeah.
So you're going to represent all those farmers, bring
Yeah.
hundreds of them together.
Yeah.
And
So,
this-
yeah, this we already do the, for example, on fruit, on
Yep.
banana, we already make an agreement with a big distributor, so we will supply them. The plan is we supply them 11 ton a week.
Wow.
So this will be a certain secure market for the farmers. So with that kind of operation, the farmer will be very secure, and that just one crop. And if you do multi-cropping, like for the essential oil that we're trying to do right now, this is what in our mind, essential oil is a big market, and then
Sure.
and it can absorb the produce of wide or big scale of produce, make it into little thing.
Yes.
So this will give us space to help farmers, more farmers, to have additional income from the multi-cropping. So we keep figuring out what to do. It's like agroforestry, and then preserving the species that almost extinct. And this can be, if we do this with the farmers along the edge of the forest and along the farmland. So we, in the future, what in my mind is the farmer not just produce food or other product, but they also will become a teacher for the young generation that learn about the environment, about the species, and this has become a big learning center that we will invite the young people to come and study with us and live with us. And if you organize this well enough, it will have open school for a lot of young generation in the future. And then we can have the laboratorium. We can have example for the species. That's right now. There's a lot of species that mentioned in the old scripture. We don't even know what is that look like.
Yeah.
We don't even know. Now we try to trace this because Dutch was here for 350 years. So we try to trace this now to Holland to find out the description of the plant that and then we will try to restore this. And so it's actually there's a loss of connection, our generation and the generation like 200 or 300 years ago. And this is we try to connect through this project as well. So the farming, the agroforestry, and then the restoring the environment and the almost extinct species, and helping the farmer economically and socially put together and create a culture. This is like our big dream, and through the co-op, and I hope we'll able to do that. we try,
Fantastic.
Beautiful
Put that
vision.
together a little bit.
What?
Yeah.
So
We're working with a botanist who's from South Africa, originally living in Australia now, who's a specialist in tropical forests and in medicinal plants, traditional medicinal plants. So he's helping us to put an agroforestry project together that will have the focus on preserving the traditional medicinal plants. So this is like bringing back things from the verge of extinction. And that's what he was talking about the laboratory. This is on the edge of the forest, and we're actually donating our own land for that use. So it'll have a laboratory where we're hoping that students and doctors and, you know, healers can come and learn about the plants and how they're used and stuff. So the agroforestry, the goal of that is to bring back the full ecosystem, okay? And then if you have that, you can have little blocks, say maybe 20% of your total farmland is devoted to the agroforestry. As long as you have it, it can flow through like a little natural river.
Yes.
That creates a corridor for the wildlife. And that restores the full ecosystem. Then all the farmlands surrounding that get the benefit of like the bees and the dragonflies and that on the birds and all the
So
oxygen from the trees. And then you have some things that you're cultivating in there, but you never cultivate the hardwoods, what do they call it, the endemic trees.
Yeah,
you replant the endemic trees and you never harvest that.
Yeah, we'll try that.
Yeah. And then with the farming, with the co-op with the fruit, which is the longer, the more long-term crops, or they call medium-term, as opposed to
Short term,
frontier wood that you grow that maybe takes 15 years to harvest, and you do plan to harvest that, planted next to your endemic trees. You have your frontier trees that you do plan to harvest, but that's like a 20-year commitment to those, right? Your fruit, that's maybe depending on bananas are quick, but other kind of fruit maybe need 5 years before the trees are producing. But then they're always producing. Okay, but you have some time investment. Then below that you have like the shrubs and the vegetables and the plants for the essential oils. So you have that. So that's a quick harvest. That's a quick harvest. So what we're hoping is to have these corridors of the agroforestry, and then the more kind of traditional farmland that's around that, but supported by that. That has the like fruit that he's already made. We've already have a MOU with the big fruit supplier for Indonesia for domestic supply, and then for the essential oil that we're working on for international. And fortunately, what they want in the market in Europe especially is certified organic and fair trade. So we're like, yes, this gives us an excuse to get everybody, okay guys, you want this market, we gotta go organic. So that gives us the tool to convince the farmers that, oh, this is really what we should be doing.
We'll try.
And then we want to preserve that 10% of all this for growing vegetables, for local,
food security.
For food security, for the just local consumption at affordable prices, because you're already supporting it by this whole structure. So the vegetables, you don't have to make money from that. They just charge enough just to keep it going.
So this is like to reduce the cost of the
food
of
for
the
local
food
people.
for local, and because right now it's like you said, why is organic more expensive? And we got to get a way around to be able to provide healthy food, affordable healthy food for everybody, especially for the children, for our generation, next generation. So this is what we will try to do. We're trying to do,
and then if there's like sometimes you have something overproduction. It just happens like the weather was just right.
Perfect.
And then you ended up with twice as much as you had planned. This we want to donate to like orphanages and schools and stuff like that. Because any production. And eventually, but this is a few years down the road, I would really like to make like things that can last, like soup and juice and stuff that's more processed, but that can be flash frozen or whatever, and then really affordable. So instead of somebody getting like instant noodles, they can get an organic vegetable soup for a similar price.
Yeah.
And easy to make, and because it's using the scrappy, it's using our same idea with the scrappy on the farm. So let's use the leftover, the vegetables that didn't look pretty enough to send to the market, that we can just chop, boil it up, make the soup.
And the challenge is to do that.
A lot of challenges.
The challenge is, of course, is the initial investment.
This is really cool because it's exciting.
Yeah.
And it's a big project.
Yes,
and you've got people working with the government, staff is in process to get it all set up, and it's all happening.
Yeah.
And you're talking to lots of farmers,
Yeah.
and there's big suppliers, and there's markets, and there's stuff in Europe, and it's all happening, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And super inspiring for me to go, that's happening, right? And it's going to be organic, it's going to be fair trade, it's based on time-tested principles and values that we know support people and the planet, which is, that's my whole thing. So what, if we were to break it all down, because, if I was listening to this, I am listening to this, and I'm going, this is really, really cool. This is really exciting. It's great to know that you've got this vision for these big projects and you're making it happen. And what's something that anybody can do? Because we've got people in Australia, in North America, in Europe, all in South Africa and New Zealand, all over the world.
Yeah.
And they're going, well, I don't have a background in agriculture or in business or in organising co-ops for farms or for, that sounds amazing. And maybe there's people out there who can do that and definitely can be having a look at what you're creating here, the challenges that you've overcome, and look at your models. And that would be really cool.
Yeah.
You're open to helping other people in other places who want to do similar things?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. So of course we want to share everything and to be shared also.
Yeah, nice.
And because of this is what we're doing is not about power or anything, but it's about to make things better
Nice.
locally, but we think globally, and we think globally what we can do, and then people can help us in any kind that they can, any kind that they can. We keep open, and as long as we still keep our principle, and this is like our our term.
Yeah.
That
this is the condition.
The condition.
These are the principles.
Yeah. This is the principle. There's
Nice.
no other principle that and then there's no other highway. There's no highway.
No highway option.
So
Yeah,
we're really open with whatever people can help.
Cool.
But the principle is the principle.
Yeah,
So
nice.
that five principle and helping Bali, and then helping the local people to empower them and to help them to get a better quality of life. So because I'm very careful with this because in a lot of places, when one place growing economically or whatever, and what actually happening is invasion. Just local people get pushed away, and then new people that with more money, with more skill, with more network, will just take over there, and then just the local people just get pushed away, and everywhere in the world, and that always happen. That always happen, and then this is it cannot be happen everywhere, not just in Bali. Everywhere we should share with them. We should empower. We should make a better mindset. A better mindset, I mean, is the mindset that focus on the quality of life for all. So this is the mindset that we want to encourage, not like, okay, we want the best car on the road, so we want to have more money than others, or we want to have Bali become a multi-million economy. But in fact, 90% of those money is just reside in like 5% of the people, and this is like happening everywhere. And then the people has become a slave without them knowing it. They have to work day and night just to put food on their table, and without able to having a good time with their family and all this stuff. So we're trying to, this is the what you call it, the description of the quality of life that we need. So that condition has to be the focus. So that principle has to be the focus, and then we want to share this with the world. We want to share this, and we also open any kind of help from others, and make this happen. And
helping other people, but also receiving help.
Yes.
And so when you talk about this, I mean, I just feel your great heart and your great love for Bali, for the people, for the village life,
for the world, and then this is what we're trying to do. It's it's all this time our focus is like how to be the most powerful fish in a pond, and how to become the most noticeable and resilient. Actually, that's not the right focus, I think. And the focus is supposed to be how to make this society have a better quality of life, how to make this environment is better for the future for the kids.
So with that in mind, I mean, if we're really looking at quality of life for people and healthy, long-term, healthy, thriving ecologies for this aquarium, as you call it, that we're all in. What's something that you imagine somebody's living in the city, living in the suburbs, they're he's got to drive his car to work every day that's burning fossil fuels, and he's doesn't feel good about that, and then got to go to this job that maybe they don't like, to get this money that's made up, to buy stuff that they don't need, to impress people that they don't like. There's like a lot of stress in that way of living.
Exactly.
And what can someone do? Because not everybody's going to be able to go out and say, we're going to bring all the farmers together and build a big co-op. And it's amazing the things you're doing. But what's something that what small steps can people take to really start to make a difference in this area?
Okay. What people can do for if you in that position.
Yes.
What you can do is right now there's a term of sharing economy, and or supported community supported farmers.
Okay.
So you can make a group. Okay, let's support this farmer, and we either you become a customer of it, and we will in the future. This one of thing that we also want to provide by the co-op is like a delivery service for the committed customer, that they can buy twice a week. Like okay, I buy 200,000 rupiah twice a week, or 300,000 rupiah, and this will help the farmers, our group, to grow.
Is that available now? Is that already with that here?
Not yet.
So let me know when that's available,
it's
right?
coming. Yeah, we'll have
customer right here.
So and
we talk about delivery. Absolutely, bring it. That's
also
fantastic.
you can do. We design to people to be able to invest also.
Okay.
And like this is a sharing economy. Okay, we make. Okay, there's 1 hectare of banana, and how much is the investment? So you can support if people have extra money to invest. they can invest that. We have the scheme of the investment on the farm, and you will be connected to that farmers directly. Oh, okay, farmers A, and you want to help them, okay? And they don't have the initial investment, they don't have the capital, but they have the land, they have the manpower, but we have the market, and we gonna come, okay,
Putting it all together.
You put the money there, and then how much is investment needed for 1 hectare, and then you get the return, and this is one of the schemes. So people can help the farmers, and then it's better than if you put the money in the bank.
Yeah, okay.
What people can do to help right now is one thing they can help invest in the give the startup money for farmers to start the banana farming, for an example.
And also essential oil.
And the essential oil, and they will have a better return on their investment than if they put that money in the bank.
Sure. Yeah.
And they can invest small amount of money. You don't have to invest a big amount of money, so it's kind of like crowdfunding, except they're going to get the money back. It's not just to benefit; they're also going to get the return, because that's part of our whole principle of fair trade. It's not about charity. It's fair for everybody, everybody along the supply chain.
Yeah, we don't believe in charity, so.
In that way,
because
it's
in
better
all
to
way.
empower than
So,
to,
and because if you give the money for free, they will kick the dog.
My dad says if you give a man a dog, he'll kick it. If you make him pay for it, he'll feed it. So
if you give the money to man, they will kick the dog. So
It's a lot of wisdom in that. Absolutely.
The other thing that people can do to help right away is to make an effort, like if you're living in Australia or America or whatever, make an effort to buy items that are fair trade. Don't shop at places with fast fashion that are just the disposable, very cheap things using the labor that is, not well supported and cared for. Save up your money, buy something that's fair trade. It's going to last you a lot longer. It's going to benefit the people who are making it. It's going to put the money in the hands of the right people instead of in the hands of the corporate top echelon.
But,
and the other thing you can do is to buy organic, same thing. If we don't, not just for our own health, but to support the organic farmers so they can continue to grow organic. And some people don't understand, like I really try to only buy organic, and even when I was living in the West, and my sister, who doesn't really understand, she'd say, oh, well, if it's a fruit that you can peel, you don't really need to buy organic. And I said, but that's not what it's about. I want to support the organic farmers. If you make that commitment to generate good on the planet, instead of to keep perpetuating the bad because it's the easy way. It's not always the easy way to buy fair trade and to buy organic and to live by your principles. The other thing is, like he said, the number one principle is about compassion. Have compassion for people. Be kind. Help somebody cross the street. Just be kind. Don't just think about yourself. Actually, happiness comes from helping others. That is proven. That is not just me saying that. That is proven. If you want to be happy, help somebody. You will be happier, and they'll be happier. And the other thing, like he was saying with the community farming, this is already. They say think globally, act locally. Get together with your neighbor, or you're at the school, or your church group, or whatever. Get together, make a group, start a community farm that is organic. You'll be benefiting your neighbors, you'll be benefiting the environment by growing something that's organic. You're going to put more oxygen into the atmosphere, help clean up the aquarium that we're in. And seriously, I'm, like you said, your sister is a little pessimistic. I feel we're at the brink. If we don't do something right now, there is no more time for saying tomorrow or next week or next year. Our species is on the brink of extinction. The only way we can come back from that brink is to work together, and right now. not tomorrow or next year,
Yeah.
right now. But we can do it. If we work together, we're like the little ants.
Yeah.
The little ants in the big anthill. By myself, I cannot
Yeah.
feed the world, but all us little ants together, we can.
Yeah. Yeah, with the better generation.
Yeah.
And also what they can help is donating their time.
Okay.
So their time and skill.
Yeah.
So we'll open the like volunteer and then whoever has skill, and then we need a lot of that kind of stuff.
So people
So
could actually come to Bali.
Come to
Yes.
Bali,
If you
yeah,
guys volunteer
yeah,
their
and then
talents
it's
and
like
skills.
if there's an expert on farming or organic farming, and then we can combine the the technique between the West and the East, and and this is will and also people that has the market, that has the information on the market,
Sure.
they can or they have access on the certification or and all this stuff, so we can work together. That is the biggest
Yeah,
challenge
right now
next
in the
is,
co-op, can I say, honey, in the forming of the co-op in this early stage, because we're not generating any income, but there's
Sure.
a lot of big work that has to be done, like compiling the database of all the members.
Yeah.
Everybody is working for free. All these professional people that have, everybody's just
Yeah.
donating their time to
Yeah.
make it happen. So yes, if anybody wants to help with that, we could
There's work to
really
be done.
use help
Yeah,
for in
yeah.
every area, in IT and farming and
It's in
just
marketing
filing or
yeah.
any kind of skill, we can put it to good use.
So
Right
and
on.
because that putting the system together in this big vision is need a professional and on like doing something, or you're making the organization and all this stuff. It's big vision, but there's a lot of challenge in it, and yeah, we need help on
How
every
can,
aspect.
if anyone has got either some investment or some
Yeah.
skills or some
Yeah.
time or some ideas or some resource pooling or whatever they've got, what's the easiest way for them to get in touch with you? How can they connect? And get stuff
they can
happening?
email us
Mhm.
on Balizen at yahoo.com.
Balizen@yahoo.com.
Yeah.
Right, I'll have
Yeah.
that on the screen. Perfect.
And they can email that.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's the best way.
So we'll try to accommodate.
Perfect.
Work it together.
Let's look for a
I'd
flood
say-
of emails coming.
Yeah.
with
let
investment and
work it
skills and
together.
resources.
Let talk it together. Let make it happen. And from doing this for almost 15 years, and I always have hope. Even if it's hard, it's not easy. It's always in my philosophy is doing the good thing always need the hard work and commitment, and not like doing bad thing. You just do it, and so
good thing.
because doing good thing is like doing the construction. Doing bad thing, doing the destruction. You destruct the building, you can do it in 1 hour, and build it, you cannot do that. So this is the comparison. So if we do it together and stick together with a good mind and a good spirit, we're able to. I always say this in a lot of change that. Human civilizations need to be upgraded.
Nice.
We need to upgrade human civilization. That right now we are stuck in the materialism and egoism and the crave for power and materialistic. So that we think all this stuff will bringing happiness to us. Actually, that in a lot of cases it was wrong. So, and we need to upgrade our focus as a human being to create a better quality of life for all.
and this is what we need to upgrade ourselves into, that focus, because when a lot of people think about it, and we can be fair for ourselves, for everybody, and for environment, for other people, and for the spirit, for the value, and that will solve the problem. So most of the problem. So it's right now that we most of us think power and materialism and accumulation of belonging will bring us happiness, but we stuck with that, and we stuck with unsecure, feeling unsecure. We don't have that, but that what create all the problem, like most of the problem, and we try to be more efficient, but never think about the side effect of it. Like, let rub thing with plastic, and then we produce plastic. That's how it started. Oh well, if we rub thing with plastic, it's cheap, and then it's efficient, it's practice, and then
what happens?
20 years
Send
later,
the plastic away.
20 years later, how
whales
many
are
the
washing
whale
up on
and
the-
the ocean filled with plastic?
Oh, I went to Waldorf school,
Uh-huh.
and that, Rudolf Steiner was a German philosopher from the early part of the 20th century, and that was kind of the recovery after World War I, which was a great shock to society, and they felt really the way we do now, that what has happened to mankind. And they believed in the spiritual renewal after a materialist age. Here we are, almost 100 years later, in exactly the same, quandary. How do we get there, right? And Rudolf Steiner had a very complete vision about, and it reminded me when you were talking about the principles and the 5 things. He had thinking, feeling, and willing. These were the things: thinking, feeling, and willing. This is what makes up the human. And that you need the ego, you need the will, you need the spirit, the heart, and you need the brain, right?
Sure.
To make those things happen.
You need the body.
And you need, that's the Then there's the physical,
Very convenient
spiritual.
to have a machine to move
Right.
around in, right?
Yeah.
Comes in handy.
And then also, I always think, at Waldorf School, you say a morning verse every morning, every single morning. And I went all the way through from kindergarten through 12th grade. So every single morning we would say this morning verse that it just sort of acknowledged and gave honor to the planet. And
Well, let's hear it.
all
What's the verse?
Oh my God. The problem is with the verse is that it's not so PC anymore. Even using the word God, and they've, I don't think of, I don't want to get into it, because then you get
That's
into
fine.
like a separatism of
Sure.
different religions or whatever. But if you think of God the way I think of God, as something that connects us, everybody, as the energy force that is everywhere in the universe, that is not separate from us or anything else, but is in fact that which is everything. God is everything, and everything is God. That's the way I think about God. It's not like part of us. It is us. It is us. It is the earth. It is everything. Okay? So in this last part of the verse is really like how my motivation for life, and it's what we said when I was a kid. It said, Spirit of God, to thee myself I seeking turn. So I look for that within myself, that strength and grace and skill for learning and for work in me may live and grow. So this is when everything that we do, that's always what I think about, because that's what I said every single day. It's about continuous improvement. It's that strength and grace and skill for learning and for work. In me may live and grow. It's not just today I'm going to do it, tomorrow I'm going to do it better. And then the other thing is about, on the spiritual side, for me, is about to, overcoming your difficulties so that that can provide an example for other people of that. Look, you know, it wasn't it's not to overcome your difficulties so that you achieved that goal. It's so that you can share your experience, strength, and hope with somebody else. It's like, look, we had this problem and we stuck with it and we kept looking at the positive side, and in the end we were able to overcome it. Maybe not in the way that we thought.
Sure.
Sometimes you have a certain goal and that goal is unattainable, but you do get to the other side, and if you always put the positive energy and try to help others and improve the quality of life, and to let's all be brothers and sisters as being human beings on this planet together, to work for the common good, there's always something positive will come from it. And sometimes in the worst scenarios, like a disaster, that brings out the best in people. Yeah. And that we experienced at the bombing that he was talking about. Maybe it started with the Bali bombing. You know, and we just, some friends of ours that were involved in EDUP, I don't know if you're going to talk with them at all, you should, called us because they were up here and we were down near Kuta, and they said, hey, did you hear about this bomb? And oh my God, and maybe you should go check it out at the hospital and see what's going on and if people need help. And we're like, okay. So we just went there. We just went there with our laptop and the cell phone, and there was no emergency response system in Bali. There was nothing. Like he said, we were the emergency response system. I put my laptop on a box and sat down on the sidewalk, and then people coming and saying, I can't find my girlfriend, my boyfriend, where's my kid, my husband, whatever. And I said, give me your name. Do you have a copy of their pass? We started just entering the information. Just entering the information. And then everybody just started pouring out, and people would just show up. Somebody like the owner of the restaurant, what do you need? Here's with a stack of money. I just put a plate out and everybody started giving money. What do you need? We need cleaning supplies. We need food. We need this. Everybody, we need blood. Blood, because they don't have O-type blood. They have different type of blood, you know, in Indonesia, then Westerners have a different kind of blood type. And so there was none. People coming from everywhere to donate blood. It was actually an amazing thing. And so really sometimes a bad situation brings out the best in people. So let's, hopefully this where we're at now, we can bring out the best in people. Sorry.
Sorry for nothing. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
So at that time, for the reporting, if you lost the one that you love, it actually my handphone.
Announced on the radio. If you did need help or whatever, it was his cell phone.
I have 2 cell phones at the time, and then both of them on newspaper. You can see, and then they calling. You know, if they have anybody to
people
lost
calling
their
from
family.
other islands.
I had no idea. I had no idea, and I'm sure there's tons of people back in Australia and people all over who'll be watching this, who'll be going,
so
that was it? No wonder I couldn't get through, right? I was going, I'm getting frustrated, no one's answering the phone, and why don't they have more staff?
By the third day, they started having the system in place.
But it's still the people calling to my cell phone because it everywhere in the magazine and so yes, we set up the crisis response at the hospital with people that really willing to help, and that was great. And we worked like 18 hours a day for like 4 days there, and then so
amazing experience.
And it was tiring afterwards, but anyway, so that just an example. And we need to upgrade the
So now we're going to go and upgrade the farming co-op
Yeah.
organic farming system in Bali, right? We've got emergency response sorted, tick that one. Right, what's next on the list?
So and then, but now
Fair trade, right?
yeah.
Doing good there.
Yes,
Farming, let's go.
So,
Yeah,
Look
well,
out.
the farming, food security is a big issue
Yeah,
now
sure.
on our planet, and we have too many people on the planet, and we need to, which means we have to be much more careful about what we're doing, and that inorganic farming, all that chemical use is just adding to the climate change, the global warming,
Sure.
and also the degrading the environment, and then that all with what do they say, the like factory farming, the big farming is doesn't help the small people. But there are some, what's good to know is there are some big companies now that we've heard, and we're hoping to meet with some of them in Europe who are really interested in joining the fair trade movement, and with programs that they call insetting, where they become part of the supply chain and helping from the beginning, like we've been doing, but on a larger scale, because they have the resources.
Yeah, nice.
And then also to for carbon credits to help to, like growing trees, for example, and then helping with the local community. So cross your fingers for us. We're making our big trip to Europe next week, and to meet with some of these organizations that are putting funders together with the projects, and we hope that we will be able to kickstart this huge idea that we have to become a reality.
Yeah,
Well, keep us posted, keep us
Yeah.
updated, and I'd
Yeah.
love to hear how
Yeah.
that goes. Maybe we can do a follow-up
Yeah.
and have a look at what,
Yeah.
down the track a little bit, how this
Yeah.
is all
It's
evolving
hard
and growing.
to.
'Cause it's exciting times
I
right
know.
now.
Actually, on the this is on the movie side. Okay, I have this idea for a long time. It's for you and for Mas also. So good. So I have this idea, and in Bali or Indonesia, usually in the tropical country, people tend to receive more visually than out than hearing.
Okay.
And then I have this idea how to fix the society.
Yeah.
For example,
We gotta upgrade, right?
how to upgrade their mind. You have to change their mindset first. Is to make a movie, documentary movie, but split it. First, you have to know the past, the now, the present, and the future. So you draw a line from the past to the present, and you make description of the present, and what is actually see it from many sides. So now from this, how you gonna make progress? You split the road. You split it, but put it side by side.
Yep.
And one is to make a progress on make things better. One is keep doing stupidity and whatever that, and then see 50 years,
See where we end up.
100 years from now. And this I've been wanting to make this movie for quite a long time, 5 or 10 years ago. So because if you have this movie documentary, for example, in Bali for just one topic, okay, about garbage, about plastic, about education, about our society, about the greediness, and then if you make this very clear and descriptive but in visual thing, it's gonna go in people's mind. So this is another
Awesome.
and then you make the domino effect
Yep.
of this, and from the past and our root, and then what make present, and what choice we have in the present to make things better
I get it.
or worse in the future.
Well, now you got a guy who can make that happen.
So
Make sure you get his details.
so
Wow,
this
is
is
really
like it's we need to change people's mind, to give them vision, to give. You cannot just talk or do. If you do it,
Sure.
it need time
Yeah.
and commitment, and sometimes it doesn't work as if you make the movie and visualization of what your vision is. So and
You got a guy who shares your love for this land, who gets it.
Because you
and
know,
has the
if
skills.
what I'm doing is might take 20 years, might take
It's
10
going to
years.
take the rest of your life.
Yeah, and
It's not going to go away, right?
it might be the progress might slow, but in the movie the progress is boom. It's like you can make it in 1 year to recite for 20 years vision, and this is what I've been.
It's an
wanting
awesome
to do.
idea.
Yeah, and
I love it.
and if you do this and then and do it over and over and give it to the school, give it to to the school for the morning
Morning first.
morning first. So put it on their on their brain.
Powerful idea.
So and this will at least open the mind, open the the human side of human.
Beautiful.
So yeah.
Do it, man.
So
Do it.
You guys can do it. I don't have skill on that,
Yeah.
so it's just
Make it happen.
the narration and then the
What you've got.
yeah. So yeah, that
You got a dynamo right here. Right, don't worry about the narration. You got that covered.
So and yeah, so I think
Awesome.
that will be a very powerful tool,
Yeah. I totally agree.
to support this movement. So in the people, on the people on the ground. So and give it to every banjar, every community, and then you just give them, okay, let's watch it together, and then put it in the university, in the school, and talk about it, and this will, it's like you made right now. Like you're making right now.
That's it, man. We'll just
Yeah.
do what we can.
Yeah.
So tell me, before we wrap up,
Yeah.
any final thoughts, comments, observations, any bits we missed, anything you'd like to share, anything important, summaries?
To me, the most important thing, like in this movement, is mindset of people and consensus, and then the next generation. How do we teach? How do we prepare our next generation to continue this, the progress of the upgrading of human society? This is like a big challenge, and which will go to the education system.
Yes.
Education system is not just at school or as formal education, but also at home.
Of course.
So at home, we have to raise our kid in the right way. So preparing is not raising an object, but we're actually preparing to help them to grow and not just think that your kid is an object, but is the subject of their life.
As parents, we start to quickly realize that, don't we?
Yes, so, and because this is the key of the whole thing, because we just have limited time. We can do like maximum 60 years of work, and maybe less. We have another 20 years. We're lucky, and then you need to prepare for the next generation with the good education, and the education have to focus on upgrading the human civilization, so not just stuck with the.
It's been really interesting. Everybody I've spoken to, and when I started out with this project, I thought I'm going to be talking to people about permaculture and waste management and water and energy, and everybody said the same thing. It's an upgrade of society, and it's up to the consciousness or the awareness or the actions or the integrity or the principles of every individual pulling together to make this work. And it's so cool to hear you saying the same thing, because it's like anybody who's looking at this gets that that's where the answer is.
That's amazing.
It's in education, it's in society. So really,
That's,
really beautiful.
And I have something to add also. I was
Andrea,
thinking about
Please.
So I was just 2 years in the States, and I opened a store there while we were there.
Oh, cool.
Just so
Because
that,
you can't help yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Like I wasn't busy enough, and I really want, after living here full time for the last 16 years, I really wanted to share more than just the product with the people. I was in California, in Pasadena. I wanted to share sort of the culture. And in Bali, we have ceremonies for everything. And the ceremonies are about honoring. They're about honoring. They're about respect, and they're about gratitude. And this, and here we do daily offerings. And I really, because I was separated from the tradition here you just kind of take it for granted, it's happening all the time.
Sure.
There I had to think about it more clearly about what is it that I want to share with the people here about the culture there.
Okay.
And that when you do an offering, it is about gratitude. I think a really huge component in any kind of progress, in any kind of moving forward or happiness is about gratitude.
Yeah.
Why is that? I mean, I totally agree, by the way. But why is that?
If you don't, because whatever things can always be better.
Sure.
Things can always be better, but hey, they can always be a lot worse.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if you're just grateful that you can
With what you
breathe,
have,
if you're lucky enough to have a great spouse like I do, for my children, for that something my dad told me when I was little or taught me how to use a screwdriver, or that tree that's outside that has a beautiful shape of the leaf and with the gray sky behind it, and the lines that the roofs are making, and that it has a whole, everything has beauty.
Yeah. The
Everything
light,
has beauty, and that we're so lucky to be able to live in this world and to have each other, and there's always something to be grateful for. And that if that, and they say look on the bright side or whatever, but I think that this is about that cycle of love and of giving and of gratitude. And and I also think about being in a state of grace. Okay, grace, and that grace comes from the Latin, like gracias, which means thank you in Spanish. So it's all goes together, and about being a gracious hostess, for example. That's like what I want to be, gracious. So to be gracious, you have to have gratitude. You always say thanks, and then this allows you to be in a state of grace, which is happiness,
that
and
happiness,
bliss.
Yeah.
And you just don't forget to be grateful for what you have. Okay, we're in a big mess, but we're also, there's so much beauty in
around us,
everything.
yeah.
And even you see, really easy to see beauty in small children.
Yeah.
That are just with abandon. They don't care about whatever. They're just going to be dancing, or they're just going to play with a rock or whatever. And that can always make you smile, right? Yeah, there's nothing better than the sound of a baby laughing, right? So that's just, don't forget to be grateful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Such an important
Yeah.
message, and really super pertinent to me personally right now. And this is something that, I've been playing with this idea for a long time, and integrating that and looking at how grateful can we be. And literally on my mirror at home right now, it's got be grateful all the time. For everything.
Yeah.
That's my challenge right now. That's my mantra. This kind of bit of this year. I'm going, could I really do that? Because there's a lot of things I'm not grateful for. I don't appreciate. And to see the gift in that, to see the opportunity for my own growth, for my own development, for whatever it exists, right? So if something exists in ecology, it's necessary in that ecology. And to wow.
Yeah, that's true, and we sometimes forget that.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Constantly.
We constantly forget. Oh, I changed.
I speak for myself. Maybe you sometimes forget. I constantly forget.
So we have this healthy body. We have a lot of opportunity compared to others, compared to other beings. So that's great.
I've got this one. I don't know if you saw it, and here it says, A Complaint-Free World. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
So this is Will Bowen. He wrote the book Complaint-Free
Yeah.
World.
Uh-huh.
And the idea is that you put the bracelet on,
Yeah.
and then the challenge is to go 21 days without complaining.
Oh, not
And every
in my
time you make a
culture.
complaint, you take it off this wrist, you put it on the other wrist, and you start again. Right? So I thought, well, this should be easy.
Yeah.
I don't complain so much about things. Day one, 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 day one. Oh my goodness!
Okay, well, my heritage is Jewish, and then that is the culture of kvetching. Right? This is
Kvetching.
part of our culture. Yeah. that-
So he said when, he looks at this in the book, he lists all the reasons why people complain and what we get out of it and how it serves us, and then the actual outcome of that. And we go, actually, there's no real positive outcome of just complaining. He said, if you're talking directly and only with the person who can do something about it, and you've got a result or an outcome or a focus in mind, then that's not a complaint. But if
Yeah.
you're just sitting around
Yeah.
complaining about that guy,
Boy.
right? He said no good comes of that.
Yeah.
It just everybody doesn't
Yeah.
feel good. So he said for most people, if you're really committed and you really go for it,
Yeah.
you can do the 21-day challenge in about
Yeah.
6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
Is how long it takes people to actually complete 21
Right.
days. And I'm going, but I'm going to be much quicker than that. So it's been like 2 months now.
Okay.
I'm on day 8. It's very exciting.
So,
I think you
Yeah.
might be right.
Yeah.
Here we're learning about, to me, and in this life, so we're learning about the universal consciousness. So this we sometimes block our mind from.
Maybe you sometimes do. I
Yeah.
constantly
So
do.
yeah, it's a lot of time
Yeah.
we just block our mind with the boundaries that we just see the narrow path.
Yeah.
And in fact, we need to see the 360 times 360. So all the dot in the globe. So that point of view, and when you able to see that, this my goal to be able to see the all point of view that exists, and to what to encourage the full consciousness of
Wow.
yeah. So this in this journey, the life is journey, and then this part of our journey is that we believe that that good that we should do in our life to create what you call that, a legacy at the end of our life. So nothing more than that. So we live in this life to create legacy, and either good or bad, or either people agree that is useful for others or not.
Or not,
And
yeah.
it's not much about good and bad, but is it useful for others to create a better quality of life or not? So life is too short
For
to
bad
do
coffee.
for
Bad
bad coffee. Yes.
Guys, this has been so good. I've so enjoyed our time. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, life is too short for bad coffee.
Yeah.
You're right.
Let's go.